Hey yo guys, how is it going? Tally here, this is Jamie, that's Aidan. He doesn't actually quite matter right now. We're focusing on Jamie here. He's way taller than he looks on camera, and he's way prettier too. Okay, he is, as the kids say, dummy thick, and he is playing a dummy thick deck. What are you playing, pal?
So I'm playing Mermail.
Mermail's, okay, I've got no idea what Mermail's do, as per last week, so just fire in, tell us all about it.
No worries. So this is the deck that I managed to use in locals today and went 3-1. So I've had the deck for about 2 weeks, so there may still be some changes that will come on. But the deck is fairly simple in terms of the list, but we'll go over certain things. So we've got 3 Megalo, standard to any combo, comes up with a few different things. You'll see it in the sort of 2-card combo that I'll show off in a little bit. Obviously, Megalo gets the ability to attack twice by tributing another water monster. You can use it to tribute things like Neptibus, which will get it back into a summon. And you'll pretty much see that the big trend with this deck is that they're all of them are going to trigger each other in various ways. The next level 7 is Tace. Mixed rarity, because not ready to go down the rabbit hole of max rarity again.
This is one of those decks, when people talk about max rarity decks, it's like, yeah, I've got max rarity Mermails. It's just one of those.
I've got max rarity Cyber Dragons, but Mermails is another whole can of fish.
A weird flex, but okay.
So Tace can search you any level 4 Mermail, or level 4 or lower. So again, you'll see this is the primary card in the 2-card combo.
The 2-card combo.
The 2-card combo. The 2-card combo that took me to victory countless times today. Well, I say countless. I won 3 matches and then went into game 3 against my only loss, which was against Sky Striker. So this deck I played against Salamangrates twice, and I 2-0'd them both. I also went against Guru, which I 2-0'd, and then I lost to Mystic Mind in game 3 due to double or nothing and me only having Avalacea after drawing some other cards. So yeah, 3 Tace, searches a level 4 by sending a water monster from hand, very great. Now Dragoons, obviously been at 3 now for a wee while. I don't know if it's quite a year yet, might have been, my perception of time is awful. Possibly the best card in the deck. Not once per turn, when it's sent to activate a water monster effect, search any sea serpent. That includes your Megalo, your Mauling Glacia, Lapis Dragon. There's so many cards that your Dragoons can search. It's so useful.
That's honestly stupid, man.
Yeah, not being once per turn, you'll often see this resolve. You'll normally resolve all 3 within the space of a few cards of each other. For instance, if you summon Neptibus, which we'll see in a second, as cost, it sends a Dragoons. So even if you've negated it with impermanence, so it's not going to search one, just sending this off cost will still trigger it off Neptibus or Tace or Megalo, so it's pretty much always live. So Neptibus, again, your primary combo starter, and your summon off Deep Sea Diva if everything is going according to plan. When it's on the field, you can send an Atlantean from deck to grave as cost. Which, cost is good, and when cost is still triggering your effect, it's even better. So even through negations, it's straight up plus. This can send any Atlantean to add an Atlantean. So, and again, in combos, send Dragoons, maybe add an Atlantean. You can even send a copy of itself. It can't search itself or summon itself from grave, but if you have other targets in grave, you can send and revive. So, a really insane card. This is pretty much going to get you all your advantage during the match. So 1 copy of Deep Sea Diva. The list doesn't want us to have any more. Understandable.
Very understandable.
Level 2 tuner. Personally, I've found that being a tuner doesn't come up a huge amount, but the fact that it's a straight normal summon your Neptibus, which as we've already covered is a straight up plus, is quite good.
So you're telling me that this is a 1-card Orcus combo?
What, sorry?
Yes.
1-card Orcus
yes,
combo.
For the cultured people at home, you can summon your Deep Sea Diva and summon Neptibus, and last time I checked, my eyes doth tell me, those are 2 different names.
Jesus Christ.
So next, 1 Mauling Glacia, standard, pivotal to our 2-card combo, the 2-card combo.
The 2-card combo.
Rip 2 cards out your opponent's hand, your opponent starts with less cards than they should. It's wonderful. And if they've even atypically seen an Ash or a Veiler and they've dropped it on your Neptibus or something earlier in the turn, then they might be starting with even less, because as we all know, unless it's Droll, you're probably not going to do a huge amount of hand traps just because of how everything sends off cost here.
And remember guys, Droll is in fact for bad kids.
Droll is for bad kids, can confirm. Got Droll and Lockbird once today, shout out to Kobe. Beep you, Kobe. But no, so I still played through it and took game against Guru. So Joel came up once and it didn't finish me off.
I got you rolled today.
So this is one copy of Sia. This is quite an interesting choice. I don't think everyone would play this. I run this really just for names and numbers in my Mermail deck. So again, you can search this off Pike or Teus. When it's summoned, you can target another Mermail, send it to the grave and summon 2 others with level 4 or lower that equal or less than its level. So you can target a Teus or a Megalo, send them both to grave and summon a Pike and a Gund, immediately triggering the Pike, or Mander if you needed to just make a link play and get Mander in grave. It doesn't come up a huge amount of the time, but when it did, it was particularly if you'd been hand trapped and you were working through more clutch hands. And it did win me a lot of games. You know, essentially bringing it out into the board, turning one monster into 2 is always a good effect. And the way that you're going to be summoning out Pike and Gun, if you've played things off correctly, you might have already got Gun to hand and you'll summon back whatever you've sent anyway. The recycling power in this deck is pretty insane. So then we've got one copy of Mander, underrated, thick fish boy, part of the Wombo combo, which we will soon display. Simple ability, when he's engraved, you can banish him to increase the level of your Mermails by 1 or by 2. It would typically seem bad, and it may be bad, but you're going to see very soon why Mander is going to be your thick best friend.
That's such an anime effect. Just raise it by 1 or 2.
Just raise it by 1 or 2, mate.
So seemingly bad.
So then we've gone for one copy of Pike. I've seen this debated sometimes. My limited knowledge of the deck with the 2 weeks of experience I have is that sometimes Pike may be played at multiple copies. Double checking my deck here. Yep, we are one copy of Pike. Discard a water monster to search a level 3 water monster. That can search your Gen X Undine or Marksman if you're playing him. I'm not, I didn't find it to come up enough. I chose to go for a second copy of Infantry. But you can use this to search your Gen X Undine, and it typically comes up as a way to pitch your Gund or so on from hand. If you've not seen any of your Frog package, which you'll see soon. So that's nice and effective for that. Being level 4 as well, in the raid or combos that let you go into Abyss Dweller and so on, that's very useful. But again, it's also just a good extender, it's a good plus. So our next is, I'm playing 2 copies of Gund. Gund is great at 2 for the simple reason that when it's discarded, you summon back a Mermail in your grave. But what's important is that a lot of the other cards will miss timing if they're discarded off something like Swamp Frog, because Swamp Frog's effect is inherent. But Gund is just when it's discarded, not by a card effect, not when it's being discarded to activate a water monster effect, just being discarded triggers its effect. So this is really great for extenders. You'll often see it. I had a game today where I did the Undine combo, used this as my discard off Brionac, and then used it to summon back my Teus, which was exactly game in a really funny turn of events. So a solid 2 of, because it's nice to see 1 or 2 of them just for your extender. Next we're playing 2 Infantry, and again, mixed rarity, thanks to Kobe, who threw me a super and I could hardly refuse. Nice generic good card. Gives you an additional normal summon, an ability that's often not utilised. You can choose to summon Infantry, and it will give you the additional normal summon for a Sea Serpent. So you can often use it to summon itself and a Neptibus, which full Orcus combo. This isn't an Orcus deck, but you know it's full Orcus combo. Most brilliant use for this card is definitely setting up Ablacia. After all, this is a going first control variant first and foremost, with the ability to slipstream very comfortably into a break your board going second style deck. So 2 of them I found was good. I want to see it going first, but not too often. I don't want it to really brick the hand too badly. 1 Rosenix. Best use is just being engraved. You're not going to use it for anything else. You can banish the card to summon a token.
It's not a Mermail card.
That's not a Mermail card, but it is a water card, and we like water. There's a really simple 1-card combo for a Link 3 or a Link 1 and a Synchro 6 combo with Rosenix that'll maybe show off later on if our sporting host allows for time. But Rosenix is nice and simple. You banish it from your graveyard when it's sent off Undine or from one of your earlier monster effects. Banish it to summon out one of your tokens. We've then got 1 copy of Lapis Dragon. Very simple. Lapis Dragon's going to hit the field when it's searched by and added to hand. It'll immediately summon itself, so Dragoons can search this and immediately summon it. It's a tuner level 5. I shouldn't need to tell anyone that it's great. If you have a level 3 on the board, you can go into a Synchro 8. For instance, you can make Boral Savage. I would play Boral Savage, but I don't have him. So he didn't make the cut today, but you can use it with things like Neptibus, who's often going to be on the board, to make Coral or Brianak, or simply just a good link extender. Because it has 0 attack as well, I might be wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong, you can summon this off Coral and enemy in other synchro-based extenders should the need arise. 3, Undine. I've had a bit of a love-hate relationship with this, and of course, one controller. This effect is simple. You will send any water monster from your deck to grave to add a copy of Gen X controller. Obviously this is a Sekka's build, so typically in a turn if you draw Sekka's and Undine, you'll draw your 2 but you'll hold the Sekka's and shuffle this back, but not necessarily all the time. As I've said, you can send Rosenex off this, banish it, get a token, summon Link Spider, summon your controller and just sort of go off from there. It's really straightforward and simple. Being able to send any water monster as part of an effect is very useful and works very well. Next, we've got a very basic Toad package. Pretty much in any of the combos, they're great. Rip 2 cards at your hand, set up negates, whatever it is. But if you then draw Swamp Frog from Sekka's or just by drawing it in your opening hand, you're also establishing a negate just straight off the way. It's really a self-explanatory card. It's really good. When it's summoned to the board, which can be done by pitching a water monster, it sends any frog from your deck to grave, not once per turn. It can return something to the hand to also gain the effect to additionally normal summon a frog, except itself. So pretty much this is your totally awesome package. Triggers gunned, nice and useful. Often also comes up in various link or extender plays if needs be.
Sick.
Next we'll flash some cards that are high rarity due to our Cyber Dragon deck.
Oh damn.
Yet to be featured. So they're not first edition. We can blame my card dealer, but 3 Veiler. Obviously we're playing Sekka's, so Impermanence doesn't make the cut. It's quite a short hand trap package here, but yeah, I stick by Veiler. It's good, comes up a lot, because a lot of the time as well you can easily turn the deck into a go second variant, and going second, you're fine. 3 Ash and 3 Veiler. And as immediately mentioned, 3 Ash, fairly self-explanatory, just a generic good hand trap, makes its way into pretty much every deck these days. And then the last main deck card are 3 Sekka's Light.
What's the Prismatics?
Nice Prismatics.
Oh yeah.
Nice Prismatics. Shout out to all my D&D and Cthulhu guys for getting me the case for my birthday. Play set right in the case. It was destiny that on that same night I also got given the actual core for this deck by Chris Parker. Shout out to him.
It was meant to happen.
Meant to happen. Fate had foretold. This card is Pot of Greed and shuffle a brick card away.
Yeah.
So this is better Pot of Greed when you don't need spells, and it's a damn sight prettier. Comment below if you think I'm full of beep. So next we go on to the extra deck, nice and simple. Link Spider, pretty much the only utility of this. I did play it when I was testing Draco Sax for a link extending version, but I don't really try that now. Link Spider is nice and simple in the combo where you summon Gen X Undine and add controller. The token that you get off Rosenex, you make Link Spider, and Link Spider summon that, and you can either make a Link 3 or a Synchro play, so that's dead brain choice. The Starboy, again, it's a simple combat extender. I think if ever I was needing to make space, this guy is probably hitting along the line, but he does also have the ability to add water monsters back, which can be hard to deny, and sometimes when you're pushing for the OTK, just going by the deck's pure end of day function, the Starboy is there for you. Phoenix. So this is actually came up today. Obviously, the only match I lost today was against Mystic Mind Sky Strikers, and not having a main deck spell removal certainly hurt. But because obviously I don't run a lot of utility in that regard in this deck for back row removal, which actually concerned me in my Guru match, but let's just say siding and choices went very well. Phoenix is just a good generic link to in a deck that can afford it. Abalacia, underrated favourite card in the extra deck. Absolutely, this card put the work in today. More often than not, even if I had no cards left on the hand or the board, my opponent would not attack just for fear of me sending an infantry and summoning a water monster back. And yeah, summon a water monster, so you can even bring back Toad with this. So it's got two effects. During your opponent's turn, you can send a water monster from your hand in order to search a Mermail card. And if you've set things up correctly, you'll maybe have a heavy infantry in your hand for a pop utility off this as well. It also provides a 500 attack bonus to what it points to. So it's a better Mistar Boy in pretty much every way, and just came up almost every single game. The only games where this wasn't coming up was because I was just obliterated in some way, which again didn't really come up today. So next we have Coral and Enemy. Expensive card, but if I didn't have it, I would miss it. It's too good to not have. Summon back any water with 1500 or less attack. So your main target for this is Neptibus. This is really good in bricking combos, where if you've bricked and you need to get something back, you'll try and essentially make your way into this while getting Neptibus engraved, which is typically quite easy. So you'll send that away, summon back your Neptibus, and then boom, ba boom, dragoon, dragoon, dragoon. So nice and steady and easy. So solid card, highly rate it. Does have the pullback that you can only summon water monsters for the rest of the turn, which locks you out of precisely one card in this extra deck, which we'll see soon. So next, Unicorn. Again, we all know what it does by this stage. Good generic removal. Comes up occasionally, particularly if in going second when your opponent is playing something where you really need to break the board, and it's more favourable to work that way. Borrow load. You all know what it does. Comes up a lot. On 2 occasions today, I borrow loaded someone's borrow load. Very satisfying. Shout out to Kobe. You made the last borrow load of the day.
That clap in the background is so well timed.
Very well fitting. Shiny Borrow Sword. We like Borrow Sword. Borrow Sword pushes for game. You summon a bunch of things that attack a bunch of times. So when you're playing Mermail and Borrow Sword touches down, it's just the non-formal handshake of the match. Such, again, potentially another cuttable card. You can summon this off Diva and Neptibus, get a play out of your hand by synchro summoning using something in your hand. It can potentially be quite good for going into Coral or Brionac in a really clutch play, so it makes the cut simplified.
Battery's dying.
Alright.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, Coral Dragon, discard and pop, nice and simple. Brionac came up a good couple times today, really strong and effective synchro. Whoops. Sorry, being rushed. And then for our XYZ Toad, as we've displayed, you'll rarely set off of it, but again it's really good and you can revive it back very easily. Abyss Dweller doesn't come up a lot, but if you can make it, you can trigger your Dragoons and so on. Very good. Abyss Gaios will often come up in your combos when the last card we're about to showcase doesn't pan out. This is essentially Baby Calamities. Detach material, negate all face-up monsters your opponent controls. Level 7 lower monsters cannot attack while it has material. So the last card of the extra deck is True King of All Calamities. Beat VFD. Shut off all your opponent's monsters, change their attribute, and stop them battling. So he is vital to the combo. Very quickly before we go into the combo, side deck nice and simple. Big Nibiru, the Rock Johnson, Primordial. 3 Pancatrops. 3 Lancia. Yes, we mixed rarity again.
Oh, damn.
Mixed damn rarity, boys. Now, in the next bit, I'll explain these. 3 Red Reboot. Very quick explanation. You're wondering why the spell taps go in. When you're going second and you're side decking in a Sekka's light variant of the deck, sometimes the sides are going to be more important, especially if you're trying to interrupt plays. So if you're needing Red Reboot, or in the next case as well, evenly matched, you really need to sometimes say, I know I'm playing Sekkas, but it's fine. Cut them, cut your Swamp Frog, your Frogs if you're going second, and don't be afraid to put these in. These will win you games having them. This deck can be quite weak to control and floodgates if they're used correctly, so I would highly, highly recommend that you be aware that just because you're playing Sekkas doesn't mean you can't side them out. That came up a lot for me today, and has done in testing, and I would rate it very highly.
Awesome, that's pretty sick. We'll get the combo in just a wee moment or two. Guys, let's round it off there very quickly though. As always, if you liked it, give it a like. If you loved it, tell this boy you love him. Right, hit him down in the comments. He's the new Tommy.
Very
He's new and
sensitive. I
improved
enjoy
Tommy.
nice things.
He's a lovely guy. But guys, as always, if you like to give a like, if you loved it, give it a share and tell everyone you know about Team Tally today. If you yourself want to join Team Tally, there is a subscribe button down below, somewhere in that region.
You better hit that subscribe button.
Listen to that silky smooth voice. Aiden also wants you to subscribe.
You should subscribe, my friend.
Guys, as always, I've been Tally. You have been amazing. They have also been amazing. I'll catch you all later. Bye.